Welcome back to the channel. My name is Sarah and today I'm going to talk about two recent releases that I have read and my thoughts on those and why you should definitely pick up both of them. The first book that I want to talk about, and before I do that, let me add, I am sick. I'm filming quite a few videos right now, but I am very ill. So if any of this is coherent, I'm going to be real happy. So do with that what you will. So the first book that I would like to talk about is going to be Ebony Gate by Julia V, and I think it's Ken Barbell or Babel. It's on the screen here. This is a urban fantasy with no romance, and that is fantastic for me. I love romance, don't get me wrong. I adore romance. Clearly, I read a lot of romance on the channel. However, sometimes, a lot of time, urban fantasy and romance tend to, if they come together, be very unbalanced. We get a lot more romance than we do fantasy, and that just is very sad for me as someone who loves urban settings for fantasy. But this had no romance in it. There's hints of something to come, but no romance in this one, and focuses mainly in on our characters, the fantastical world they're in, and the plot of the story. And in this, we follow Emiko, who is a retired, we'll say retired, blade of her clan, of her family. She's living in San Francisco, trying to pursue a quiet life, find her peace. And she gets caught up in a big sort of, not murder mystery. There is some dead people in it. The ebony gate that stands between the world of the living and the dead is stolen, and she is tasked with finding that gate. And boy, do things kind of go crazy from there. This was great. Emiko is the kind of character I really like in urban fantasy. She's one of those characters that can be done very dirty, but she actually is done really well here. She has a bad past. She is a retired blade of her clan in that she no longer fulfills that role. Blades in this world are kind of like the family or the clan's enforcers. Their will is subject to the will of the leader of the clan, and their work can be bloody and horrible and gruesome. And on kind of coming to her senses after a particularly gruesome job, she decides she no longer wants to do that, and she breaks the sword that binds her to her ancestors and to the clan in the way that makes her that mindless killing machine. And now she's hiding in San Francisco. She's not really hiding, but she is, laying low. She doesn't want a lot to do with the mechanics, the politics of the society that she comes from. This world is based on the idea of a race of humans who are descended from the 8 legendary dragons, and how they live amongst humans. We don't know about them, but they are there, and they have fantastical elemental powers. She doesn't have powers as far as she's aware, but she is a fantastic swordsman and a trained assassin. Thus, the John Wick comparison that you see a lot floating around. She is tasked by her mother, who is this kind of, we never actually meet her mother, but I'm sure she's going to be very important later. Super powerful individual who kind of sets her up to take this debt with a Shinigami, a death god. And she is tasked to find this ebony gate within, I think it's 24 hours, or she will be used as the next ebony gate. She will be the next one to stand between the world of the living and the dead, basically giving up her own life. Oh, so good. I really enjoyed this. It wasn't a perfect 5-star for me. There were a few places where the book felt like it might have dragged a little, and I feel like the storylines that maybe hinted at one of the romance possibilities, because it is setting up, I think, a love triangle, I feel like that storyline was a little needless. I don't like the character that we meet very early in the book. He is going to be, I think, one of the romantic partners. I don't care for him. I felt his story was useless, but overall, I really loved it. This one also, second arc in a row that I read that had fantastic Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu representation. I am all here for more people learning and reading about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I don't practice it myself, but my husband is a brown belt. We are very, it's very big in this house. I sit next to a training mat when I'm filming in my library, so I loved seeing that. And the few fights that we see, spars that we see, sparring matches that we see with jujitsu in this, I actually read aloud to my husband, and he really liked the way it was represented and written as well. So that's a plus in its favor. Overall, a really fantastic fantasy, urban fantasy book. I am going to continue the series. I'm looking forward to it very much. Depending on how the second book goes, it may also be one that I end up putting on my shelves as well. So I do recommend this for fans of the genre. Okay, the second arc that I want to talk about is Empire of Exiles by Aaron M. Evans. This is technically going to be talked about a little bit in a vlog that's going up sometime soon on NetGalley catch-up arcs. This came out, I said this was recent releases. This did not come out this recently. I was just very behind on my review. This is November of last year, but I want to talk about it because y'all sleeping on this one. I'm just saying it needs more hype. This is amazing. I think this is a 5-star for me. This is the story. This is a murder mystery, and this is the story of Brother Quill, Yinny, and Amadea, and a policeman. He's kind of a policeman. He's basically a policeman named Rika, as they solve this murder mystery. Brother Quill comes to the city. He is basically a legal assistant. He is there to request some artifacts for a member of the royal family from the archives, and the archives are this empire's repository of important artifacts. This is from all of the races in the empire. And he is there with his advocate that he is the assistant to, and another young man who's also an assistant, to pick up these relics. While he is at the archives requesting these, he meets Yinny, who is a specialist at the archives, and her specialty is ink. She is absolutely adorable, and I love her. She was very soft and very sweet. I'll insert a picture of her here. She is, and I don't want to mispronounce the race name, but they are, one character kind of disparagingly calls her a goat girl. If you know what a Draenei is from World of Warcraft, very similar. He also meets Amadea, I'm gonna say Amadea. I'm terrible at names. Don't sue me. Who is the head of the specialists in the archives. And, you know, the relics in question that are being requested are very suspect, but they set about to find them, and within the night, something happens, and things pop off. And Quill is left seeing something extremely traumatic, watching the death of someone he really cared for, and he is left with questions that he's not getting answers to, and we follow them as they attempt to solve this mystery, and they are all caught up in it. This pulls everyone in. The past and the present are coming into this together, and we actually get a very fantastic look at a world that is absolutely fascinating. In this world, this empire is ringed by a salt wall. The salt wall is a giant wall that keeps the changelings out of the empire, because the changelings have rules much like the Fae. They don't like iron, they don't like salt, that sort of thing. And the changelings chased all of these exiled races from their homelands into this empire location. They were attempting to take over, and these people all came together, erected the salt wall, and now they all live together in this empire. And the history of the world comes in as very important to this, especially in the last half, because this mystery has far-reaching implications about the salt wall, about people outside of the wall, and people inside of the wall who want to see the wall destroyed. Absolutely great story. I loved everything about this, from the interesting races, which are varied. They're very unique and interesting. My favorite thing, I think, was Yinny. Her race has a third eye, and it's called their dark eye. They close their main two eyes here and view the darkness with their dark eye, and it's just a very interesting little detail that I quite loved. The pantheon, the religion in this, is also fantastic. I thought she did a great job with that, and the magic especially is very good. Orbit usually knocks their covers out of the park, but this cover I don't think does this book justice, but the reason for the things on the cover is because the magic focuses in on specialities. If you're a specialist in something, you are called to it, you can speak to it, and you can manipulate it, and it's usually man-made things like bronze, copper, things worked with those materials. Yinny's speciality is ink. She can talk to ink, she can hear the words on the page, they whisper to her, and they speak with her. Now, there are people who have affinities for these things in that they can sense it, they know it's there, but they can't control it. Specialists can control it, they can talk to it, it talks to them, and sorcerers are kind of considered mad. They're mad men and women, and they are always on the brink of what's called a spiral. I forget the actual word she used, but basically they spiral out and they are consumed by that affinity. They see nothing but the affinity, how to make more of it, how to break it and remake it, and they are deadly. They will destroy people and animals and places in an attempt to make more of that material. There is a character who we meet. She is from she's considered a saint because she is a sorcerer who helped erect the salt wall, but she was also absolutely terrifying in that she creates, her affinity is with glass, and she will melt your bones to get the minerals in your bones to create more glass. It's fantastic. It's great. Can't recommend this enough. If you can tell, I have tabbed the ever-loving snot out of this. I cannot wait for the next book, Relics of Ruin, and I think it comes out early next year. Highly recommend this, as well as a fantastic new epic fantasy with a really intriguing murder mystery plot that I would pick up. I hope some of that was coherent. But that is it for those 2 reviews. Oh, what's happening? Oh, I'm getting a drink. Hello. Thank you, good sir.
I'm gonna scoop the poop, so will that bother you?
No, I'm finishing this video. Okay, but that is it for these 2 reviews. I hope some of you are interested in what I said and that it was coherent through my nasally sickness. Like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you think. And if you have read these, what are your thoughts? Especially, what are your thoughts on Empire of Exiles? Because honestly, no one's talking about this, and that makes me so sad. Anyway, I will talk to you guys again soon. Bye. I already forgot. The medicine's wearing off. Oh god.